What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Rent Check with your co-host Francisco Rojas, along with Ashlee Woods. So, Ashlee Woods, I had to start the show off with this because Carson Wentz and the Indianapolis Colts missed the playoffs. They lose to the Jacksonville Jaguars. They get smoked by them. And here the Eagles are. They're heading into the playoffs. And we knew who Carson Wentz was when he was an Eagle here. There's people who loved him, people who didn't like him for whatever reason. And I got to talk about it. Eagles are playing the Bucs here. They could potentially, there's a possibility anything can happen. If the Eagles beat the Bucs, I don't see it happening, but they might beat the Bucs, right? And if Jalen Hurts wins this game, that Jalen Hurts and the Eagles win this game, I don't really know what to say because it's possible that could Jalen Hurts surpass Carson Wentz, what he did in an Eagles uniform? I got to ask you first. Ashlee, is it possible that Jalen Hurts could surpass what Carson Wentz did here for 4 to 5 seasons throughout everything that happened? Is it possible that Jalen Hurts could surpass what Carson Wentz did here?
That is going to be a hard no for me, dog. I am, first of all, I just want to start off with I'm very happy for Hurts that this team exceeded a lot of expectations, and mine included. I'm glad that they got the chance to make the playoffs. Nick Sirianni is the only rookie head coach to make the playoffs. Suckers. And I'm happy for them. But I don't think with one win over this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team really makes Hurts a better quarterback in an Eagles uniform than Wentz did. Wentz was. Because Wentz was a part of a Super Bowl winning team. And, it's hard to hold him up to that standard, but the past regime before you won a chip. They won a ring. You can sit there and say, Wentz has never won a playoff game. That's short. That's great. But there's a lot of things that Wentz did in an Eagles uniform that are still Eagles records to this day. And I don't think a playoff win kind of surpasses all of that, however, with everything that went down with the Eagles, that kind of sucked, with Wentz and everything. But what he did in an Eagles uniform got us to a championship. It got our first championship. We made the playoffs 3 out of the 5 years that he was here. And he was the main catalyst for that. 2019, he's taking receivers that were working at freaking Wawa the day before to the playoffs.
Some of those players are still here.
What Hurts right now had a better pool of talent than Wentz did back in 2019. I don't think this win really makes Hurts a better Eagles quarterback than Wentz. I think it sets him up to be more successful than Wentz because he has that playoff win. And, Wentz still hasn't gotten one in the Eagles or Colts uniform. And I don't think so because Wentz did help a Super Bowl, win a Super Bowl. You can argue that it was Foles, but quite frankly, Nick Foles doesn't throw for 33 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. I don't think so.
Right.
But I want to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, no, I'm really right there with you. You go back to Wentz's MVP season. He should have won MVP over Tom Brady. That's just my opinion. They don't get to the Super Bowl without Carson Wentz. 2019, he takes a bunch of, like you said, practice squad guys to the playoffs that year. Unfortunately, he got hurt. Jadeveon Clowney had a dirty hit on him. He got hurt. But people don't talk about that enough, how he got that team to the playoffs that year. And then Hurts this year, look, Hurts did what he had to do. I respect what Hurts did this year. To a certain extent, he exceeded my expectations. They did get to the playoffs, but they beat a lot of teams that, you had Jake Fromm as quarterback and you had Matt Glennon and you had who was the Washington quarterback the first time, Garrett Gilbert. I don't want to completely knock the Eagles because they did beat these teams, but Hurts and the offense and the entire team, they were slow to get it going in these first halves of these games, and they were lucky they weren't playing halfway decent teams. So, look, I respect what Hurts did this year, but he's lucky that they had the strength of schedule they had this second half, because if they played some halfway decent teams and maybe they played Heineke the first time and they split Washington, who knows if they make the playoffs. So, look, all respect to Hurts and what they did. They did what they were supposed to do. I get it, but they were also very lucky. So no, one win against Brady and the Bucks, where Brady's almost 50 years old. Brady is going to retire at some point and not look the same, we think. So one win against the Bucks doesn't totally say, hey, Hurts is now surpassed Wentz. Now, if they get farther and they get to the NFC Championship and the Super Bowl, it's a different story. We'll get there. Hope maybe that happens. Who knows? Who freaking knows? So no, I don't think it Hurts will surpass Wentz. So Ashlee Woods, also Devante Smith, this year he has surpassed DeSean Jackson, with the record of catches, right? Not yards, but just catches, correct?
It was yards.
It was yards.
Yeah.
No, it was catches too. He had 62. It had 64.
Yards. I know it was yards, but it was catches as well. So.
I think it was both. We'll double check on that. So anyway, what are your thoughts on what Devante's been able to do this year?
I am so happy that he was able to do that. I think it kind of solidifies that you have a first round talent. You have an elite talent in Devante Smith. He passed DeSean Jackson's rookie record that has been.
You're only happy because he's a Bama guy.
I mean, sure, we can take that take. Roll Tide. But he passed that rookie record. That record's been there for like freaking ever, and he passed it with limited targets. It's 18-week season, so he had more time to do it. Whatever, but 17 games versus 16. But there were times where he was only getting like 2 touches for like 10 yards.
That's true.
And he passed it. He passed it. So you got to give him his flowers for being dedicated, and shout out to Nick Sirianni for letting him pass it before he took him out of the game. It shows how dedicated he is to his craft. He doesn't have to be the star of the show. He's just going to do what he needs to do to help this team be successful, and wound up breaking a record while it's at it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, the Devante and me and Vince were talking before you came on earlier. DeSean is for the most part of his career, he's just a home run threat, right? He came into the league, he was supposed to be just a home run threat, and he's had a very good career. Now, Devante had extremely similar season to what DeSean had his rookie year, and he's not supposed to be just a home run threat. He's going to be everything. So this is super exciting. I am super excited to see what he's got going on. The rest of his career. I'm so excited he's a Philadelphia Eagle. I know you're excited, double excited because he's a Bama guy, but I'm excited because he's a Philadelphia Eagle, and we got him for however long. Hopefully he stays. Look, I know it was just his rookie year, but maybe he'll stay an Eagle forever. That would be the hope. So, Ashlee, to close out the show, we got the Tampa Bay Bucks. It's going to be a tough test. Whoever we were going to get in the first round or the wild card round, it was going to be a tough test. What are your expectations for Devante and Jalen? And I guess more importantly, Jalen, because he's the quarterback. What are the expectations here?
For me, honestly, I don't have that many expectations. I just hope that they go out there and play well for the playoff experience, especially being so young, growing up, being so young in the league. This could be vital for him. For him and Smith and Sirianni for the future. If you're building your team around this core of 3 people, you're going to have to get them some playoff experience and get some tough teams. I think they could go out and do a good performance. I'm expecting, Hurts to kind of run it, and the Bucks are going to try to force in the pass as well. For Smith, I expect Smith to kind of become Hurts' number 1 target, because although the Bucks rushing defense is very sus, that secondary is very tough, and they're going to try to force Jalen to throw, and you're going to need people like Devante and Quez, mainly Devante, to kind of step up into that role and catch some balls from Hurts when he's in trouble, when you're trying to get down the field, because the run game is not working. But I don't have too many expectations going to this game. I'm just trying to enjoy the fun. Enjoy the ride.
Yeah, me too.
We weren't even supposed to be here.
Yeah, people have been saying we've been playing with house money, so it's the same thing for me. I don't really have high expectations either. I just want to I want them to at least make it a competitive game for the most part. If they lose, they lose. I want them to go out there, Jalen and Devante, and I don't I don't expect anything less than them playing hard, going out. And I think they will make it a game to a certain extent. Maybe the third, fourth quarter, it tails off and Tampa Bay pulls away with it. Kind of like the first game I believe it was, right? In Philadelphia earlier this year. I think it'll be like the same type of thing with Jalen, Devante. Just, try to get to Devante some targets, like you said. Did you say Tampa Bay's run defense is bad?
I mean, it's it's not as great as their pass defense.
It's like top 3. If you look at yards, they're like top 3
as far as yards per carry, but like as in total rush defense.
Maybe the research I've done, I thought they were like a top 3 rush defense.
Their passing defense is a lot better than their rush. At least it was at the beginning of the season. It's kind of trended that way too. But yeah, but there's like,
I think I looked on ESPN.com. I'm just saying, I have to look again, but I'm pretty sure they're like top 3 in rush defense. And that's a problem for the Eagles. And we know it's been an issue this year when the Eagles haven't been able to run the ball, when Jalen's had to pass, besides the Washington game, but this is Tampa Bay. And Jalen hasn't looked phenomenal. So I don't just look, I want to see a competitive game from Devante and Jalen and the rest of the Eagles. That's all I want. I'm not expecting too much. That's about it. So Ashlee Woods, we're in the playoffs. We are in the playoffs. No matter what happens, I'm just glad they made the playoffs this year. Screw all that tanking for a higher draft pick, whatever. I'm glad that we're here in the playoffs. Ashlee Woods. Yeah, that's about it. Ashlee, any final thoughts here?
I don't have any. Okay. Go Birds.
Go Birds. Hopefully this won't be the last episode. Well, if there will be, we'll do a season wrap up. But hopefully we'll be talking about first round. So this has been the Run Check.